Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. We all know that in Shmini Atzeres we begin to mention in Shemona Esrei about the Eibishter being kind to the people and to the world, and it gives us rain. And then on Zayin Adar in Chutz La'aretz, we begin in Zayin Adar in Eretz Yisrael. They begin saying Talamat Levracha a bakasha for rain. I'd like to spend a couple of moments just to speak about both of these nekudas, the bakasha and the zchira, the mentioning of the Eibishter is kind enough, which we say in the beginning of Shemona Esrei, and the request for rain, and each one has a beautiful thought, a beautiful message, a beautiful lesson. When we daven in Shemona Atzeres, and when we start saying Mashav Ruach Hamoed Geshem, so in the Tfilas Geshem over there, we mention all different zuchiyos, merits. On what behalf we say, Hashem, please help us with giving us rain. One of them, obviously, when you mention the Avis, you mention the Shvatim, and mention the Tzadikei Olam, you want to arouse their zechusim for Hashem to give us good stuff. However, when it comes to Moshe Rabbeinu, obviously mentioning Moshe Rabbeinu should be a zechus. There's a statement there that seems to be questionable. The statement is, remember Moshe Rabbeinu that was drawn out of water by Bas Parai, and then it says, Ala Sela Hach Vayetzu Mayim. He hit the stone and water came out. Now anybody knows a little about Chumash knows that the Moshe Rabbeinu hitting the stone and water coming out seems to be a very negative aspect. And perhaps if you read the Pasuk, the Psukim literally, that's actually the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu was quote unquote punished and not able to go into Eretz Yisrael, because Hashem says to him to speak to the rock, and he hits the rock, and he wasn't Mekadesh Shem Shemayim. Why would we use a statement like that, Ala Sela Hach, as something to bring up when we're requesting for rain? It seems to be something negative. So this is a classical question. Some say, some interpret that might be referring to the first time Moshe Rabbeinu hit the rock. But the problem, which the Mefarshim discuss, and say that's not Sela, that is, the Torah refers to it sur. When the Torah speaks about the Sela, he was told to speak to the rock and not hit the rock. Other Mefarshim go on to say, you know what? The fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was able to hit the rock and make water come out, isn't that a great miracle? Especially if he was told to speak to the rock. If he was told that the way the rock will produce water is if you follow Hashem's instructions, you will speak to the rock and water will come out. Yet Moshe Rabbeinu, for whatever reason, didn't do that. And yet, after hitting the rock, the water comes out. Does that show how powerful, how holy, how special Moshe Rabbeinu is? But that still shows a part in this story how Moshe didn't exactly do what Hashem wants. So how is it a schus? So the beautiful answer which is given is from different places and different svarim. Some say it's a Chassidish answer from Mendel Mivorka. Some say it from others. That the beauty of Moshe Rabbeinu, the schus of Moshe Rabbeinu, not talking to the stone, talking to the rock, rather hitting the rock, that's a schus. There was a reason why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't do it. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to speak to the rock because he knew that if he speaks to the rock, water will start pouring, and then it might backfire, Rahman al-Tzlan, as an insult against Klal Yisrael. Why? Because look at a rock, a daimim, something that's a stone. Yet when Hashem says, do this and this, it will change its whole metzias and start pouring water. Us humans, where we should be able to be much more intellectual, much more flexible to the words of Hashem, and Bnei Yisrael, are not exactly picture perfect. So Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want it to hurt Klal Yisrael, so that's the reason he didn't talk to the rock. That's the reason he hit the rock. He was willing to go Mesiras Nefesh and Kvayochel Chas v'Sholem, go against Hashem's words. So the Yidden should be saved, and it shouldn't backfire on Klal Yisrael. That's a great schus. That is the symbol of a true leader, and that's what we bring up when we say Ala Sela Hach Vayetzu Mayim. Look, remember Moshe Rabbeinu. He put his self-sacrifice that he did for Klal Yisrael. He was going Kvayochel against the commandment of Hashem to help other Yidden. Now that's that's when we start on Shmini Atzeres. It comes to Zechira. We know it comes to the She'ilah, which we say in the bracha of Baruch Aleinu. We're saying the same Talamata Levracha. Now we know that we don't start saying that till Zayin Adar, Zayin Cheshvan, Zayin Mar Cheshvan. And the question is, why Zayin Mar Cheshvan? So the Gemara in the Masechta Tainus says, because the Yidden are traveling back from Eile Regel in the Beis HaMikdash, and they're leaving Sukkot, the furthest person away takes about 2 weeks, so don't ask for rain till the last person comes home, which is a tremendous lesson in Avas Yisrael. Even though many people need rain, but there are people traveling back from Yerushalayim, from the Beis HaMikdash, let them get home safe and sound before you ask for rain. But there is a Pashita question. If that's true, if that's the reason, why don't we stop asking for rain 2 weeks before Pesach? We should stop 2 weeks before Pesach when those same people have to go back to the Beis HaMikdash. And how are they going to be traveling when it's raining if you're still asking for rain? So there's basically, in a Sefer, I saw 4 different answers. One answer is from Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and he says, when it's winter time, it's the end of winter season, you're accustomed to the winter months, you're accustomed to the weather, you're accustomed to the rain, you still have winter clothes, so it's not so bad if you go to the Beis HaMikdash, walking towards the Beis HaMikdash with the winter clothes. It's not a terrible thing, especially if people need the rain. A second answer is brought from Rabbi Yoshev. Rabbi Yoshev says there's a big difference between starting to ask for a bracha. Don't start asking until it's good for everybody. But once the bracha is happening, rain, which is a bracha, is happening, to ask for it to stop, so to accommodate some people traveling, that we try to minimize not to ask to stop brachas. The third answer is, obviously there's a big difference between going to a Beis HaMikdash or coming back from the Beis HaMikdash. When you're coming back from the Beis HaMikdash, it seems to be less enthusiastic. You feel like you're in a down because you are such a holy place in Sukkot, in the Beis HaMikdash, and now, Nebuch, I'm coming home. So we can't spoil it even more by pouring rain, asking for rain. Somebody is going to the Beis HaMikdash right before Pesach, even though it's a 2-week travel, but he's so enthusiastic, he's so excited, it won't bother him whatsoever if there is rain. So therefore, towards the end of the rain season, when we know he's traveling towards the Beis HaMikdash, Zol Zayim at Regen, you can ask for rain, people need it, I'm going anyways. And the last reason is, that's brought from other Svarim, that the rain in the beginning of the winter season is much, much stronger than the rain at the end of the season. And even though people are traveling to the Beis HaMikdash for Pesach, but it's a much lighter rain, so we don't care to let that happen even while people are going to the Beis HaMikdash.